you're holding on to a newly MOP HDB flat or EC or a newly TOP condo, chances are you will be told by your family, your friends or agents to sell because prices are at its peak. But do you know what are the driving forces behind this price surge? Because if you don't, you may hold on to this property thinking that prices will continue to increase, which is not wrong, but you run the risk of prices dropping, which will affect your asset progression journey. This is why in today's episode of Ask Joy, I'm going to share with you what are the driving forces behind the price surge of these property types and why the need to dispose them at the MOP or TOP mark. Let's start off with newly MOP HDB flats, which is also known as BTO during launch. For BTOs, prices tend to reach their peak at the 5-year MOP mark due to two driving forces. First, both buyers and sellers share a similar mindset. Assume you are a resale HDB buyer today, which would you prefer to pay a premium for? A 5-year-old MOP flat or a 30-year-old resale HDB flat? Buyers will be willing to pay more for a newly MOP flat, and this matches sellers' mentality. Sellers want to sell high and buyers are also willing to pay high. But for older resale HDB flats, there will be a mismatch in mentality between both sellers and buyers. Sellers remain unchanged because they will still want to sell high, but buyers may not be willing to pay high. Second, the demand and supply. As we know, buyers who are eligible to apply for a BTO must be a Singapore citizen, and at least one other is a Singapore citizen or a SPR. Their combined household income must not exceed 14,000. When a BTO reaches its 5-year MOP mark, not only there is no income ceiling for the purchase of resale HDB flats, there is also a surge in demand from SPR households, causing an increase in prices. Price point of newly MOP flats are guaranteed to be high due to the alignment of seller and buyer's mentality and increase in demand from SPR households. These two driving forces will always be present regardless of the market conditions. However, after the 5th-year MOP mark, prices will be affected by external market conditions. It may continue to rise, may drop, or even stay the same. Take the COVID-19 pandemic for example, it fueled a massive price jump in the global housing market. For ECs, prices tend to hike at the 5th-year MOP mark because of demand and supply as well. Profile of buyers who are eligible to apply for a brand new EC is very much similar to those who are applying for a BTO, except that the combined household income is capped at 16,000. When an EC turns 5 years old, there is not much of a limitation in terms of buyer's profile. Other than foreigners, everyone else is eligible to buy. This means even if you are SPR who is below the age of 35 years old, or if you are a single earning 18,000 a month, you will also be eligible to purchase a 5-year-old resale EC. This expands the pool of ready buyers significantly, causing prices to surge. On top of that, the financing method for a brand new EC and a resale EC is very different, resulting in two different loan limits for the same buyer. Take for example, a young couple who are in their early 30s and have a combined monthly household income of 12,000. If they were to buy a brand new EC, they can loan about 755,000. But if they were to buy a resale EC, they can loan up to 1.38 million, almost double of the amount they can loan for a brand new EC. This is because brand new ECs are being financed based on mortgage servicing ratio (MSR), whereas resale EC are financed based on total debt servicing ratio (TDSR). Naturally, buyers of resale ECs will have a much higher purchasing power than buyers of brand new ECs. In summary, the forces attributing to the price surge of a 5-year-old EC are mainly due to the increase in demand pool and the different financing methods. It is also safe to say that at the 5-year MOP mark, EC prices are also guaranteed to be high because these two driving forces will always be present regardless of the market conditions. What happens after the 5th year is largely dependent on external market factors, which again are not within our control. Prices may continue to rise or drop or stay the same. Last but not least, condos. It generally takes lesser time for condos to surge in price, approximately 3 years as compared to BTO or ECs, which takes 5 years. Prices tend to surge because firstly, developers' pricing strategy. Take Key Residences for example. On its launch day in December 2020, a mid-floor 3-bedroom was sold at 1.67 million. Fast forward to today, in March 2024, a low-floor 3-bedroom of the same size is selling at 2.3 million. That's a price increment of close to 40% by the developer. Most developers are more sensitive regarding their pricing during the initial launch period because they needed units to move. But once they hit a certain percentage of sales, they would then increase the prices gradually. When developer does this, they are kind of helping buyers who purchase during the initial phase. Newly TOP condos also appeal to buyers who prefer brand new apartments whereby they can move in immediately without having to incur much renovation costs nor rental costs. So, how does asset progression work in Singapore in general? Most Singaporeans start their asset progression journey with a BTO and then sell it at the 5th year MOP mark. Then they take the sales proceeds and reinvest in a brand new EC, and then cash out again and reinvest in a brand new condo. Each progression do not require them to touch much of their personal savings. From this step forward, they can sell one, buy two, or sell one and buy a bigger quantum, or sell one and upgrade to a landed property. There are multiple possibilities of growing your asset, but it has to be done on purpose and carefully planned. But for this to work, you have to first dispose your appreciated property, and this is why most Singaporeans tend to sell their newly MOP and TOP properties. I hope this video has helped you to gain some insights on the basics of asset progression. Till then, I will see you in the next episode of Ask Joy.